We're excited to have them, and we're going to have a program here today to really get an idea of what you guys have gotten yourself into, as well as in 30 seconds, just what your intent is for the program.
I have experience in leadership. Like, you know, we figured out how to do this thing. That's how we got this far. I feel like I've made some splashes somewhere, and Suleiman, I need you to teach me how to make it more on these organizations and really, really have a strong impact on my community. So that's why I'm here. I'm the VP of Business Strategy at Springboard Collaborative.
I am the Director of Government and External Affairs for the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Vice President of On-Campus Development for the Michaels Organization.
I don't have a checkbook anymore in my new exalted role, but you know, we are thrilled to be here to signal our strong support for DiverseForce. We are, as an institution, committed to diversity and inclusion, as well as we try to promote diversity and inclusion through our greatness.
And we're counting on you to be that. And when you show up, I always say that seat is so valuable. You gotta make sure that you're earning it when you're prepared. There's so many people standing behind you waiting for you to really lead that impact. So we gotta make sure you're ready.
I want to make a huge impact, and I want to be an advocate for change. And if I could do that on a board, you could do that in a way larger than you could do if you're working with people individually. And that's really what I want to do.
In my role, I definitely want to help other people. I want to see more Latina and Latino attorneys and just people of color. You don't really get to see that in the courtroom. So I think this was a great opportunity just to network and also like bring you guys to help things that we're passionate about and, you know, use me as a resource to help you guys out. So
success is a habit. How you do anything is how you do everything. So I encourage you to take this just as as important as the other spaces that you're in while you go through this program, because you're going to have folks that are in this cohort that will be champions for you when you show up and be the best version of yourself. It helps when you unmute yourself. Well, first of all, welcome everyone to this graduation ceremony. We are excited to be graduating our 5th cohort of DiverseForce on boards. We thank you all for joining us. We thank you for working with us as we pilot this kind of virtual world, if you will. Hopefully, I was bouncing around when I probably shouldn't have been. I'm actually streaming from another platform, and my mic was hot, but it was great to hear folks are networking at the different tables. Hopefully that you're able to navigate with the tech platform here. If you're feeling like a fish out of water, like me, I'm still getting familiar with it myself. You're not alone. But I'm actually gonna go over to the platform here, and I see we have about 81 people on floor 1. So if you actually go to the left side, you'll see the 3 different floors that we have. I see there's 81 people on first floor, 38 people on the second floor. Someone just left there, and one person's on the third floor. So I don't know who's on the third floor, but we do have room on the second floor if you want to go down one floor, and maybe some room on the first floor as well. But we want to welcome each and every one of you to this event. I know some of you are also watching this live on Facebook or on YouTube or somewhere else. We want to welcome you as well. We will have a replay as well to get an idea of what the venue looks like for those who are just seeing us streaming. But you'll get all the great content and get a chance to celebrate our graduates here today. So we're going to get to the agenda, and I always want to make sure that we thank some folks who really have been just instrumental in helping to make sure that DiverseForce on Boards is a program that is continuing to grow. And Jessica, if you could help me out here, if you could actually pull up the slide here for our sponsors. Tremendous partner, and actually have a sponsor of Cohort 5 as well as our Cohort 3. Also want to thank our Knight Foundation, who's been, again, a great partner and a funder of the program since day one. Also, we have Capital One, as well as TD Bank, our sponsors this year for the first year as well. We're excited to partner with them, and many more partners who've joined us for 2021. So we're excited about that. Also want to definitely recognize our instructors as well. And just for you to pull that slide up for our instructors. And I want to thank Jessica, who's behind the scenes, and Tony Bufano, who are working the event. Please bear with us if there's any technical glitches throughout. We are learning along the way as well. Turner, Fernando Chang Moy, Christina Madison, Race Rollins, Adela as well. And again, I'm not sure why the screen lost the screen there, but again, congratulations and thank you for those individuals who are kind of working with us and has been a phenomenal partner with us throughout. Also want to thank my team at DiverseForce team. We have just phenomenal folks. I couldn't do this alone. I know a lot of people see me out shaking hands and sitting on boards and doing so much, but people like Jessica Lilly, who's just been a rock behind the scenes, as well as our whole team of folks who continuously help us to provide recruiting services, consulting services, and also we could not do this program without Impact Ed, who's been a tremendous partner through this program with Jocelyn and Claire Robertson-Kraft. Dr. Claire Robertson-Kraft, thank you so much for being a great partner. And I tell you guys, we are excited about this Cohort 5 being our 5th cohort, 135 graduates of our DiverseForce on Boards program. It is a 6-month board training program. And our goal is to make sure that folks are able to not only sit on boards, and I believe that everyone should have the right to serve on a board at the same level of incompetence as everyone else. And I say that, to those who probably sit on boards and realize that many of us have joined boards without having any formal training. But our goal is not just to have diverse faces in high places, but to make sure that we have diverse professionals that are serving on boards and making sure their presence is felt within those organizations, and to make sure that we bring a level of cultural capital to the Philadelphia nonprofit sector, which is much needed. Numbers show that the lack of diversity on boards has been stagnant for many years, and we hope to really make a big impact on that. So, Jessica, I'm not sure if you're having trouble with the slides there, but I do want to make sure we bring up next onto the stage Nathan Boone, who's actually with William Penn Foundation, to share a few words with us. Nathan is a program officer who's been just a tremendous partner in this work to help us to expand our impact. And thank you, Nathan, for joining us. I know you're with your family there, but spending some time with us this evening. I'll pass it to you.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, Suleiman. Thanks so much for inviting me. Glad to be with you all, and really just thrilled to be here to support this program on behalf of the William Penn Foundation. 2 years ago, when I was first working with Suleiman and Claire to make this grant and take what had been a 1-year pilot and try and bring this to scale, this project felt like a great idea. And today, this work feels truly essential. So really excited to kind of offer just a few thoughts to reflect on how wonderful I think it is that you've been participating in this program, that you've reached this graduation point, that you've persevered through the transformation from one format, the in-person format, to the virtual format. Continue to engage, make the most out of this opportunity, and are now positioned to embark into these positions of leadership in the nonprofit sector at such an important time. So certainly, this moment demands more of us, and each of us in particular, have an opportunity here to really reflect on the combined crises of COVID and economic recession and the movement for Black lives and racial justice, and think about the structures of power and their consequences, and the work that needs to be done to continue to make progress in the ways that we know are so essential. So the nonprofit sector is where I live and work. It's where I'm immersed and where I have been immersed for the last 8 years. And the opportunity that you've seized on with this program is about more fully embracing the positive social impact that you can have in your personal and professional practice by engaging with this nonprofit sector more fully and in leadership positions. And that's something truly wonderful. The nonprofit sector is doing great things and can accomplish a lot. At the foundation, the William Penn Foundation, I have this interesting perspective as a member of a team responsible for grant-making decisions governing some $34 million in grant-making every year. And that funding wields significant impact and supports a lot of great organizations doing fantastic work. But I wanted to crunch a couple numbers just to try and impress upon you how excited I am about your graduation and your entering into these positions with nonprofit boards. So far, over the last couple cohorts that the foundation has supported, we've seen 17 placements with William Penn Foundation grantees, 17 alumni from the DiverseForce on Boards program taking seats on boards with William Penn Foundation grantees. And for these 17 placements, the foundation, has made over 300 grants totaling almost 150 million. So I'm just throwing some numbers out here to really contrast the 30 million a year that we make in grant making with already the 150 million a year that those organizations have spent. And those 17 organizations alone, spend over 200 million every year, each and every year, on having positive impact on our region when you look at their total expenses. So that's just those 17. 200 million a year from our three, based on our relative to our 30 million in grant making. And when I look at some of the numbers for our entire grant making portfolio, the hundreds of organizations that the foundation has supported over these last 10 years, our 30 million is dwarfed by the $42 billion that those organizations are spending on programs and investments in communities and having positive impact on our environment, on our youth, on our families, on communities. So the relative influence, right, that you will wield as members of a board, as leaders in the nonprofit sector, is just really magnified in this way that I think is very exciting and very important to think about, particularly given the needs of the moment. So I'd also take, hopefully that point comes across, and you're excited to direct where those dollars are going, to inform those strategies, and inform how and shape how those programs are having positive impact. The other thing I wanted to reflect on with you all a little bit as you kind of go forth in these new roles with this new training and these skill sets that you've built over the course of weeks with the DiverseForce on Boards program, is to really also flag and make sure we recognize that as board members, you yourself now also hold a different kind of power. And you yourselves are also attaining these different positions of privilege. And as we collectively work across the nonprofit sector, as we must, towards a recovery that is more economically, socially, and racially just, we have to think about how those structures of power, how those positions of power are situated, and their relationships to the communities and individuals we seek to serve. I found myself reflecting a little bit. The Philanthropy Network of Greater Philadelphia had their annual convening just last week. And I found myself reflecting a little bit on some remarks that made by Carlton Waterhouse, who's a scholar and environmental justice expert with Howard University. And to try and paraphrase the point he made, whether or not it's philanthropy in the nonprofit sector or the for-profit sector, if our established models were sufficient to solve all our problems, well, we wouldn't have any problems anymore. So what we need to look for are new models of decision-making, new models for listening to and amplifying the voices of communities and individuals that we seek to serve. At the foundation, I'm excited to be part of a team that's advancing new models of equitable grant making, particularly out of our Great Learning team, knowing we're hearing from leaders in that field as part of this program. But this is just the start. As the practitioners, as the leaders on these boards, it's you who design the strategies to actually put some of those ideas and put some of those transformations that I think are necessary into practice. And certainly with the completion of this program, you have the training and the experience and the skills to really have significant and positive change on these organizations and the kind of transformation that is so important to addressing the dynamics at play here and addressing these compounding crises that are facing us as we go into 2021. So with that, I wish you all the best in this work and urge you to go out and do great things. And please continue to consider myself and the William Penn Foundation as part of your network and a supporter for you and the work that you go out to achieve. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nathan. And Nathan was sharing the numbers of seats that, of boards that folks from the program have been sitting on, funded by William Penn Foundation. And over the last 3 years, over 90 seats have been filled through the DiverseForce on Boards program. We're just really, really excited about that. And every day we're hearing more people. We'll have to update Nathan as well on new board members. I know just today, Jennifer Terry was graduating tonight. Was just inducted on Kimmel Center's board tonight, voted on, and so many others. I'm getting so many emails of folks who are actually joining new boards. And tonight, after this event, we're actually having a matching event. Thank all the nonprofit matching partners. We have over 300 who signed up over the last few years. Many who've received board members, many who are still on the journey with us. And we asked a number of folks to actually, to film a video. And I know, again, as we move into this new world, always getting on the videos and recording things, it's new territory, but over 60 organizations responded to that call in a very short period of time. And they recorded videos answering questions to network with our alumni. And we have 39 of those organizations tonight that'll have an opportunity to meet with our graduates, simply based on the fact that those organizations have been selected by some of our graduates as well. And there's some who also have some interest from our board members, some who also get emails from us about the event, making those recordings. So we thank each and every one of you who participated in that. And those who missed it, you have an opportunity to do so in 2021 as well. But next, I want to bring on our partner, our academic partners and program partners at Impact Ed. And I say I've known Dr. Claire Robertson Kraft for many, many years. In fact, it's full circle. I've sat on so many boards over the last 10 years. But my first board was Young Involved Philadelphia. Claire and I were, she's still young. I used to be young at one point. And she was chairing the board. She was a phenomenal chair of the board. And I tell you, that was kind of the entry point before sitting on so many other boards throughout the years. And it was full circle when we started a partnership with University of Pennsylvania, and they brought Claire in to help around the impact studies, and now just been a tremendous partnership as we've evolved and continue to grow at University of Pennsylvania. and Jocelyn came on board and has been a phenomenal program manager with the program, and just doing a phenomenal job of making sure the instructors are continue to have a continuous kind of curriculum. So we thank you both, and just want you to share, as some words with the cohort and those who are here.
Great. Thanks, Suleiman, for the introduction. We have been thrilled to have been a partner on this program since it launched in 2017. And I wasn't sure if Suleiman was actually going to mention how we met, but we did meet long before this program started, back when we were both young, serving on our first nonprofit board, Young Involved Philadelphia. And since that point, over the years, I've served on a number of different nonprofit boards in the region, most of which talked about the importance of board diversity, but very few that actually achieved it. So as Nathan had sort of alluded to, I've also been reflecting a lot over the last few months and last year as we come to the end of 2020, which, to say the least, has been quite a year, about the future of the nonprofit and social sector. And I found myself often coming back to thinking about this particular program and the need for it and the impact that it can have in the region. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Impact Ed, we are a research and training center based at Penn, and our mission is to help leaders use data to accelerate social change. And as the cohort knows all too well, we send lots of surveys because we're always thinking about how we can improve the program. So I also wanted to share a few data points to build on some of the ones that Nathan shared that have really stuck out to me about the need for and potential impact of this program. So first, a bit about the challenge. Nationally, 84% of nonprofit board members and 90% of nonprofit board chairs are white, which means that there is a disconnect between the demographic makeup of the individuals in leadership and the constituents they serve. And we believe that no matter how well-intentioned, nonprofits won't be able to maximize the impact in the communities they seek to serve unless racial equity and justice are priorities. And that really does start at the governance level. So when we think about the impact of the program over the years, Suleiman mentioned that to date, we've trained 135 leaders, and every single one of those leaders has left the program reporting that they understand the role of nonprofit board members and are confident in their ability to have an impact. I think it's about 80% of graduates have already been placed on boards. Many of them are serving on multiple boards, and over a quarter have already stepped into leadership positions. So as a researcher, I've evaluated a lot of different programs over the years. And when people ask me about DiverseForce on boards, I always tell them that this is far more than your standard skill building program. This is a group full of change agents. Not only are they equipped with the skills, but they also have the passion to truly transform the sector. And as far as this particular cohort, I actually realized from day one that we were going to need to step up our game, but I've been even more impressed by this group over the last year. Not only did they show up and engage in each session, but they did so while many of them were working in high pressure jobs through the pandemic, some of them educating kids at home at the same time. So I just wanted to say to this cohort, thank you for your commitment and congratulations. It truly has been an inspiration to have you all in the program over the last year, and I can't wait to see all of what you will continue to accomplish in the years to come. So again, thank you. And now the cohort knows that this program wouldn't be possible without the leadership of my colleague, Jocelyn Hastings, who runs the program on our team. So I wanted to turn it over to Jocelyn now to share a few of her reflections on this cohort.
Thank you so much, Claire. And yeah, I thought I'd share a few of my favorite moments from the program and give you a sense of the experience over the course of the last year. So to start off, we had a kickoff event at Penn, which, remember back when we could have in-person events. We asked everyone to go around the room, introduce themselves. You saw some footage of that at the beginning of the event, and share, why they were there and what they hope to get out of the program. We expected the activity to be fun, informative, more of an icebreaker, but this group really got into it and took the introductions to another level. Your introductions were so inspiring and, definitely gave me the chills, a few of them. Because of the theme of the program. Whatever we asked the group to do, they took it to the next level. And you just bring your whole self to the table and approach life and work through the lens of your unique experiences and backgrounds. I really appreciate that from everyone. Continued over the course of the program, they learned the backgrounds of nonprofits and explored the critical issues of the sector. We had an intense session with Christina Madison where we explored the fundraising landscape and discussed how to change the face of philanthropy. We developed an ask, and they didn't shy away from asking the tough questions about how to best be advocates for diversity and inclusion on boards and what that would mean for them personally. When we would talk with instructors, we had to tell them to really elevate the level of content and the questions to make sure that we were challenging this group. Throughout the program, this group really built their personal leadership skills and explored their leadership philosophies. As part of our leadership development work, each participant took a DISC assessment. If you remember that back at the beginning, we definitely learned a lot about each other from that activity. It's always a fun one. And lastly, in the face of all the challenges of this year, we came together last week to host our final session with Omar Woodard. And this group was really ready to show up and blow up, asking thoughtful questions and really engaging with our instructor and our dynamic panelists. I think I could speak for most people when I say that we just didn't want the conversation to end. I left the session really inspired to know that these are the leaders that are sitting on or will be sitting on some of the most influential boards in Philly. So thank you all for being part of these really inspiring moments this past year. And now I think we're gonna hear from some of the cohort directly about these experiences.
Yes, thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Claire. It's great working with you and excited to move into 2021. We have some exciting things in 2021 as well. And next we want to have an opportunity to hear from some of our cohort members of Cohort 5. Very excited to introduce them. And the first person I'm going to bring up is Dr. Latrice Bryant Robinson. Now, Latrice, she actually, before the pandemic, so this cohort, I tell you, they have, we just got started, and then all of a sudden we had to stop doing it in person. So we had to pivot, and this group has been resilient. I tell you, Latrice actually booked 6 flights from Dallas to actually be a part of this program. And I tell you, we're just excited to have her a part of it. She's a HR officer out of a global HR officer out of Dallas, working with a major firm, and just brought this phenomenal energy and knowledge to this cohort. So we're excited to have you here. And if you wouldn't mind, Latrice, just kind of share what your journey has been with DiverseForce on boards. Thank you.
Thank you, Suleiman. It is my great honor to share my test, but also the testimony. As an HR professional for the last 25 years, I've been humbled to reach the highest ranks in brass in HR again and again. But with those accomplishments, I quickly realized that, as Omar Woodard shared with us, showing up and blowing up was not as easy as said as done. It was only so far in our roles that I was able to go. And I realized that a pull-through was needed from the organization to the board to truly affect change. And I needed to be a part of that change. I began to search nationally for a program to develop my incompetence to assume a future role on a board, but I was unsuccessful in that search. Fast forward, fall of 2018, I was speaking at a SHRM conference in Philadelphia, and I read an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer on DiverseForce on board and the infamous Suleiman. I reached out and I stayed in touch with Suleiman, and I was not letting him go until he would allow me to get into the program. After much perseverance, I was invited to join the January 2020 Cohort 5 group. This program has been so valuable to me. It actually makes me a bit emotional. Each of the 6 sessions were amazing. Every session, guest speaker, and the panel, I felt like I was on the edge of my seat. Selfishly though, my very favorite was accounting and finance. But based on my knowledge, information, and confidence that I've gained, I've been able to affect change in my organization. I've been able to affect the change of adding a board member a person of color, persuading my CEO to add a person of color to our board and someone with a diversity, equity, and inclusion angle. But it was only by this experience that I was able to do that and to have the confidence and now the competence to add value. So I am so grateful for this experience. I will be forever grateful, and I would forever pay it forward. Even today, I'm now coaching other members on the board on how to have an effective board. So thank you, Suleiman, DiverseForce, Impact Ed, the William Penn Foundation for preparing me to serve in the future on a board and with competence.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Latrice. We appreciate you sharing, and just honored to have you a part of this cohort and part of the DiverseForce on Boards family. So thank you so much for your commitment to being a part of this. And next, I want to bring up a gentleman. We're excited to have him part of this cohort as well. And, you know, I met him many years ago, and I knew he was just doing great things at the school that he's actually the principal for. And he was recently honored as the National Principal of the Year. Okay, we have a Philadelphia principal, got the highest honor nationally, National Principal of the Year by the National Association of Secondary Schools, and none other than Richard Gordon. Richard, are you there?
I am here, thank you.
Awesome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Gordon. I'm honored to welcome my classmates, our instructors, coaches, colleagues, friends, families, and honored guests who are here tonight to celebrate this amazing group of individuals who make up DiverseForce's Cohort 5. While considering this opportunity to speak and reflect on tonight's, amazing event, looking back on this amazing experience, I cannot express my gratitude towards DiverseForce and my appreciation for my fellow cohort members. As mentioned, I'm honored to be a 3-time National Principal of the Year winner. However, to be honest, in this space, during this whole experience, sometimes it felt my personal accomplishments paled in comparison to the leadership that was in the room each and every day with whom I had the pleasure to learn from. The talent that DiverseForce has amassed amongst this powerful group of professionals that make up Cohort 5 was just simply amazing. I'm not minimizing my own background. I'm just highlighting the amazing talent Cohort 5 has shown throughout this entire experience. My journey began with a simple phone call. As I'm out doing, parent things, and as I'm about to get frustrated and feeling a little homicidal towards my kids at the moment, I got this amazing and shocking phone call from Suleiman asking me to be a part of DiverseForce's Cohort 5. Now, of course, I read the news and the posts and the articles about the program. And so even though Suleiman explained to me what the program was about, I thought I had a full understanding what the program was going to be like. I'm proud to say that I didn't have a clue. From the very first session, after listening to the guest speakers and all the panelists and listening to my cohort members, our instructors, everyone shares stories about their professional backgrounds, their experiences, the things that they've been working on, and all the relatively complex topics that are within the nonprofit world. I knew then that I stepped into a much larger professional landscape. It was very intimidating. To some degree, it's still intimidating now to this day. However, I can honestly say that DiverseForce has really provided me the experience of not only learning about the challenges that all of us want to take on in the nonprofit world, but has also taught me the kind of leader I want to be. And that leadership for me has to be based on my own authenticity. I learned through the program the importance of bringing that authenticity into the work. I cannot and will not leave myself out of the equation as we take on the challenge of service in the nonprofit world. For me personally, it's taking on generational poverty and the education gap that is gripping Philadelphia and locking out equitable opportunities for people of color. So I sincerely thank Suleiman for his leadership, Jocelyn for her guidance, all of our DiverseForce instructors and support staff members for working so hard behind the scenes. And thank you to cohorts 1 through 4 for always encouraging us, allowing us to learn from your experiences, and participating in the sessions with us. Thank you to the William Penn Foundation and all of our sponsors for this amazing opportunity. This has truly been a transformational experience for me personally, but DiverseForce really has reinforced my confidence to impact transformational change socially in a more expansive way for those whom we have to serve. So, and last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank my colleagues from Cohort 5. So, Pastor Moore, please forgive me, but as it says in Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. That could not be any truer of a statement than that describes my time with Cohort 5. So again, congratulations to all of my cohort members. Thank you again, DiverseForce, and all of our sponsors. Cohort 5 will undoubtedly make an indelible mark on the city of Philadelphia. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. And I know that you've been getting so many requests around the world and speaking and all kinds of things because of the honors that you're getting and your commitment and focus to get through it, especially in a time when, many schools having to shut down and working virtually. But you've been committed through this whole process, and we honor you for the work that you're doing in our communities as well. So thank you for sharing. And last but not least, I tell you guys, we have so many powerful, great, just dynamic people in this cohort. This last person that we all asked to join us here was very engaged throughout the program, just brought a lot of value to the program. She's actually a JD MBA. She actually works as a principal for real estate financing firms doing complex capital stacks and helping around affordable housing and all kinds of great things, but also wants to make a huge impact in the community as well. So I'm going to ask Ms. Tracy Nguyen to join us next.
Thank you, Suleiman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Suleiman mentioned, my name is Tracy Nguyen, and it is my distinct honor to have this opportunity to share with you my experience with DiverseForce on boards. So let me rewind the clock a little bit and take you back to our first kickoff event, the first meeting we had as a group in person on that cold evening on January 29th, right? Back before the pandemic when meeting in person was the norm, right? So during this initial meeting, we had an opportunity to introduce ourselves and share our motivation for participating in this program. While we all came from different backgrounds and experiences, it was clear that we all shared a common value of service to others and really wanting to make a positive impact in our community. I distinctly remember two things from that evening. First was the sincere and incredible commitment of Suleiman, Jessica, Jocelyn, Claire, and the entire DiverseForce and Impact Ed team to cultivate and elevate diverse professionals by preparing them and us to effectively serve on nonprofit boards. Second was my sheer amazement at the caliber of the participants in Cohort 5. For example, we have Dr. Christy Vo, Medical Director of Telehealth Psychiatry at CHOP, and she's also an innovator in the telehealth field. We have, as you just heard from Principal Richard Gordon, who, as you've learned, was recognized as by the National Association of Secondary School Principals as Principal of the Year. Third time. It's amazing. And we also have distinguished public servants, including Commissioner Omar Sabir and former Pennsylvania State Representative Tony Payton Jr. I mean, this is just a small sampling of the long list of accomplished leaders and professionals of Cohort 5 who serve in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. Since that initial meeting, our group has learned from a top-notch faculty, as well as from one another. We assessed our own strengths and weaknesses. We developed our technical chops, shared stories from our own lived experiences, and supported and celebrated each other along the way. The pandemic has certainly restricted our ability to gather and celebrate each other in person, but it has not restricted our ability to continue to learn and grow and sharpen our skills. This program has certainly provided us with the tools we need to be effective board leaders who can make a real impact in our communities. The classroom part of the learning process has now concluded with tonight's graduation. However, now it's time for us to take what we learned and go out there and execute. In the words of Dr. Leanne Caldwell, who was one of our distinguished guest speakers during our final session together last week, we've got this. We have what we need. We're prepared. Now it's time to show up and blow up. You've heard that several times already, and you can tell that it really resonated with our group. So going back to our kickoff event in January, my initial goal was to strengthen my understanding of effective board leadership and governance, to learn to stretch outside of my comfort zone, and to make a few new friends along the way. I received that in spades, and I am eternally grateful to the team at DiverseForce, Impact Ed, and the William Penn Foundation, and all of our sponsors for making this experience possible for me and for my fellow cohort members. Thank you very much. Congratulations to my fellow cohort members. And back to you, Suleiman.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. And what a way to close it out and recognizing some of your cohort members. I'd say we could go on for days for, about just the folks who are part of this cohort, just a dynamic group of folks who will make an impact, on not only this city, but the world. So we appreciate you and all of our cohort members who shared. And next we're going to go to our distinguished Honorable Derek Green, who's our councilman at large here in Philadelphia. He has been a friend of DiverseForce on boards. He has been from day one. When I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind doing citations for our cohort members from cohort 1, and now we're up to cohort 5. So his office just has been just incredible in doing that each and every cohort, and we've been speeding up a bit. So we've been keeping them busy. So thank you so much for your partnership and honoring our cohort members. And I'll just turn it over to you. Thank you.
Well, Suleiman, it's a true pleasure to be here this evening in this virtual space, and to consider that this is your 5th cohort, 135 graduates, 80% have been placed with boards, and you have 300 organizations who are clamoring to get the best and the brightest that have come out of DiverseForce on boards. This is truly a testament to your leadership, the work that you and Jessica have done in growing this outstanding organization. The work that Impact Ed has done with Claire and Jocelyn is really just an outstanding achievement to be able to have this outstanding graduation event this evening. And I've been fortunate enough to be along the ride with you from the very beginning. And so to this graduating class, cohort 5, I just want to say a few words before I read the citation. This has been a very challenging year. Listening to some of the other speakers, we all know how different 2020 has been because of the pandemic and all the various challenges that we've had. And when I think about 2020, it kind of reminds me as if you are walking down Broad Street, it's 43 a.m. in the morning on your way to a 12 o'clock meeting, and you're focusing on the meeting, what you're going to say, what you're going to present, and you have your papers with you, and you're so focused you don't notice that the pavement is unlevel and you trip and fall, and all your papers are all over the street, and you're just like, wham, like what just happened? And that's kind of what happened with this pandemic. And in the very beginning of the pandemic, I was working with McKinsey & Co., the multinational management consulting firm, and they talked about this pandemic from a 5-stage perspective: resolve, resilience, return, reimagination, and reform. So that concept of walking down Broad Street and tripping and falling, that's what happened to all of us in reference to the pandemic, all of the tragic killings that happened in our nation with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, and then here in Philadelphia with Walter Wallace Jr. And so the pandemic really hit us. And so that first part of that 5 stages is resolve, trying to figure out what just happened that put us in this situation. And so as you're picking up those papers from that came out of your briefcase or your purse on Broad Street, you're starting to get yourself together. That's the resilience that McKinsey talked about, trying to get yourself back to what happened and realize, okay, I tripped and fell. I still have a few more moments to get to my meeting. I can get there on time. And so that's the resilience that we as a nation, as a state, and a city have been going through, trying to just navigate during this pandemic. And that's what you have done, DiverseForce, navigating from being in person to then going through this cohort. And then that third piece is return, trying to get back to where you were before you tripped and fell on Broad Street. And that's what we're all doing right now. We're getting to that return. We've had vaccinations here in Philadelphia and across the nation. And so we're starting to try to get back to where we were before the beginning of the pandemic. And so a lot of us will focus on that resolve, resilience, and return. But those last two pieces, reimagination and reform, that's the area that in McKinsey's analysis we really need to focus on. You know, we're having these conversations on StreamYard and Skype and WebEx and Zoom and all these different platforms. And it's giving us an opportunity to engage in ways that we have never done before. And so we need to really come out of 2020 bigger and brighter and better. And so we're going to need the graduates of this cohort to be those change agents to help us reimagine and reform how we do things as a city and the work you're going to do on these boards, not only in Philadelphia, but around the region. And so that reimagination and reform is what I'm looking for from the graduates of this cohort number 5 and all of the alumni of DiverseForce on boards, because we've had some significant challenges before 2020. This year really demonstrated in a greater way the real difficulties that we have in this city and around the nation. And you as change agents are going to reimagine and reform this city as you come out of this graduation and as we come out of 2020, moving into a brighter and better 2021. And with that, I just wanted to give a few words and give you some perspective on the citation that was presented to all the graduates and is from the Council of the City of Philadelphia. And we are pleased and proud to recognize and congratulate the 5th cohort of DiverseForce on boards on the successful completion of this program. Whereas it has long been known that diverse organizations of all sizes and types perform higher on virtually every measure of success than their non-diverse counterparts. And whereas knowing this, nonprofit leaders have stated in a number of surveys that they wanted to make their boards more diverse. However, board makeup has remained relatively unchanged. And whereas believing that a talent pipeline would go a long way toward making nonprofits more diverse, DiverseForce on boards, a partnership between DiverseForce and Impact Ed at the University of Pennsylvania School of Liberal and Professional Studies, was founded in 2017. And whereas as your status as a member of the 5th cohort of DiverseForce on boards graduates places you at the vanguard of a movement to our future in which nonprofit leadership more closely resembles the constituencies their organizations serve, in which they are better able to carry out their missions. Therefore, by virtue of this citation, the Council of the City of Philadelphia does hereby recognize and congratulate the 5th cohort of DiverseForce on boards as they graduate from this outstanding program. We offer the sincere respect and admiration of this legislative body, and we wish you much success as you enter the domain of nonprofit leadership. Congratulations.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Councilman. Resolve, resilience, return, reimagine, and reform. That is the call to action. We thank you for your words. We thank you for just to continue to be such an inspiration and support of this program as well. So we're gonna go right into announcing our graduates at this point. So Jessica, if you could actually go ahead and play the announcements of our graduates. Congratulations to our graduates. Nicole Allen White. Mackenzie Austin. Vanessa Benton. Toby Booker. Maurice Bostic. Latrice Bryant Robinson. William Capers. Lee Clark. Jennifer Gomez Hardy. Richard Gordon. Clinton Johnson. Traquoya Kennedy. Donald D. Moore. Tracy Nguyen. Tony Payton Jr. Candace Perry. Rakia Ross. Omar Sabir. Khalil Salam. Floyd Simpson. Sherry Spigner. Jennifer Terry. Leona Thomas. Christy Vo. Lakeisha Washington. Awesome. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We are excited that you are now entering into our DiverseForce on Boards alumni family. We're excited to have you. We will have this on recording, so an opportunity to watch it back. I know there may have been some freezing that happened or transitions that may have happened inside of the space. But we're excited, guys, and thank you all for participating in this graduation. We are now going to transition for those of you who RSVP'd and the nonprofit boards. If you are actually selected through our process to be a part of our matching event, you know who you are. We have another room that you will be transitioning into along with our alumni who are in the market, if you will, and have signed up to be a part of our matching event. I do see we have 150 people in the room right now. Just so thank you so much for everyone who showed up, whether you're part of the matching or not. But we have board chairs, we have executive directors, we have nonprofit leaders, and then just folks from the public, private, and philanthropic sector who are part of our alumni network. Many of you who are watching on social media across different platforms as well. We thank you all for participating. And I'm just going to direct for those of you who are a part of the matching program. You can move the screen around by using your left on your mouse, and you can move it around. It may be covered by the bottom menu, but you can move the screen up. You'll see Enter DFOB Match Room. So we actually have a different room for matching. So for those who are participating in matches, you can actually start to transition to the other room. We will keep this screen up so you won't miss anything. There will be videos playing. For those of you who are part of this room and are not part of the matching event, you can certainly continue to stay in this room, okay, and network with other nonprofit leaders as long as you like to, up until about 8 o'clock. And then the event will be over. But we'll ask all those who are participating in the matching event to start transitioning over. And those who will just want to hang around and play around with the platform, Don't forget, if you go into a presentation, actually, if you turn your camera on, you can network at the tables. And just remember, at the menu at the bottom, if you need to get out of that mode, there will be a button that pops up that gives you an opportunity to return back to the room as well. Again, thank you so much, everyone who participated. Excited to share more about what we're doing in 2021. You can actually, for those organizations who have not signed up to be a board matching partner, but would like to be a partner with us and learn more about opportunities to match with our alumni moving forward, certainly go to DiverseForceOnboards.com, and information is there. For corporate sponsors who want to sponsor some of their your high potential talent, the mid to senior level professionals of color to be a part of this program, you can certainly learn more information there as well. And then those who want to be part of our next cohort, you can actually sign up as a professional, mid to senior level professionals who are interested in learning more about the DiverseForce on Boards program. So again, thank you all for joining us. I see folks are transitioning to the other room, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.
We're excited to have them, and we're going to have a program here today to really get an idea of what you guys have gotten yourself into, as well as in 30 seconds, just what your intent is for the program.
I have experience in leadership. We figured out how to do this thing. That's how we got this far. I feel like I've made some splashes somewhere, and Suleiman, I need you to teach me how to make it more on these organizations and really, really have a strong impact on my community. So that's why I'm here.
I'm the VP of Business Strategy at Springboard Collaborative. I am the Director of Government and External Affairs for the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Vice President of On-Campus Development for the Michaels organization.
I don't have a checkbook anymore in my new exalted role. But we are thrilled to be here to signal our strong support for DiverseForce. We are, as an institution, committed to diversity and inclusion, as well as we try to promote diversity and inclusion for our students, our great
And we're counting on you to be that. And when you show up, I always say that seat is so valuable. You gotta make sure that you're earning it when you're there. There's so many people standing behind you waiting for you to really lead that impact. So we got to make sure you're ready.
I want to make a huge impact, and I want to be an advocate for change. And if I could do that on a board, we could do that in a way larger than you could do if you're going to a really good way. And that's really what I want to do.
I definitely want to help other people. I want to see more Latina and Latino attorneys and just people of color. You don't really get to see that in the courtroom. So I think this was a great opportunity just to network and also bring you guys to help things that we're passionate about and use me as a resource to help you guys out. So
success is a habit. How you do anything is how you do everything. So I encourage you to take this just as as important as the other spaces that you're in while you go through this program, because you're going to have folks that are in this cohort that will be champions for you when you show up and be the best version of yourself.
All right, I know we're transitioning to the other room for those who are part of the matching event. Some of you may still be in the main room. I know I am having a little bit of challenge transitioning to the other side. So if to the other room. So if you are too, You can always use the initial link, go back into the original room, and in the bottom right corner to transition to the other side. And it might have been a lot of people doing it all at the same time. So I would just say start with the first link, and then I see it's about 70 folks on the other side. But we'll give you a little bit of time to make that transition. Jessica, if you could actually play the other video while we make sure that we transition everyone to the other room.
Return to the classics.
On the screen.
All right. Let's see here.